think I should say somewhere in there also that about the fact that I was really appalled at the beginning of the Ukraine war. And you know, I searched my soul for a way that I could help. And if I were younger, I would have volunteered to work for the Ukrainian army as a soldier. My name is David Egolf. I live in Troy, Idaho, population 900. I grew up in Casper, Wyoming, attended the University of Wyoming, and graduated in 1966 with a degree in mechanical engineering. Following that, I went into the military and was I'm a combat veteran of the war in Vietnam, where I served as a combat engineer platoon leader and earned the Bronze Star for my efforts. Following my service in Vietnam, I went back to school on the GI Bill, earned a PhD in mechanical engineering, and became a college professor. I taught at 7 different universities, finally retiring from the University of Idaho. Well, I felt very honored to have been awarded the Bronze Star. In fact, that's one of the few thank yous I got for having served in Vietnam, other than an occasional free cup of coffee at a local convenience store. Even though I came back with what I call internal injuries, hearing loss, PTSD, and cancer from having been sprayed by Agent Orange. Okay, the subject of my letter to Kelly is the disposition of my Bronze Star. And the reason I wrote Senator Kelly is because I had an idea about contributing my Bronze Star to President Zelensky of the Ukraine to be delivered to brave war veterans of the Ukrainian war. Well, I wrote Senator Kelly because he's been adamant about supporting President Zelensky in his efforts, in his war efforts against the Russians, and in fact, Kelly has been visiting numerous times to the Ukraine lately. Well, I wondered about that. I'm 81 years old now, and I assume that the Bronze Star medal will gather dust on a bookshelf somewhere, and then when my war stories have long since disappeared, it'll probably end up in a garage sale or in the trash. I'm hoping that President Zelensky will award my medal to a deserving soldier who's exhibited bravery. And if I'm able to convince other veterans of other wars to contribute their medals, I think it would provide quite a bit of motivation to the Ukrainian military. It would put people in Ukraine on notice that we all don't feel the way Donald Trump feels. Well, my vision, of course, is consolidated in the letter to Senator Mark Kelly. I was hoping that he could provide the resource, a focal point, to people who wanted to contribute their medals in terms of soliciting, collecting, and delivering the medals to President Zelensky.
What do you have fear right now?
Oh God, yeah.
Talking about this?
Oh no. I'm not afraid.
You're not afraid?
I'm afraid for my country. I'm afraid for my daughter.
Not afraid to speak up about wanting to honor a different country against, like, you know, such a power. Like, it's just, obviously we hear about Russia our whole lives. We hear, like, in like the history of these wars, and now it feels like our relationship is very different in a really weird way.
Oh.
And obviously you've lived through that. So why don't you have fear speaking up during this time?
Well, you know, we've been fighting proxy wars ever since Korea. I mean, proxy wars against Russia. When we fought in Korea, Their weapons came from Russia and China. And of course, we provided soldiers for South Korea. In Vietnam, we fought a proxy war against Russia and China. The North Vietnamese weapons came from Russia and China. And it was our bodies that were put on the line. All of a sudden now the tables are reversed. It's another proxy war, but we're providing the weapons, and the Ukraine is providing the bodies.